Hello, come meditate with me today. Before we begin, it's important that I do shed some light in the art of symbolism. I call it an art because it's a realm of conversation that's not about true or false. It's about intimate agreement and relationship that you collectively make as a human race, and you agree upon this symbol, and the symbol creates its own life form. All right, so symbols are very, very powerful. You can use symbols for good and bad. You can use symbols to help you to arrive at a higher state of consciousness. You can use symbols such as a stop sign to stop in the street. Those are symbols, and with words. So words are symbols. Now, to the left thinking side of the brain, the structure of the words will be seen, such as far as instruction. To the right side of the thinking brain, you can see the creativity of the art of symbolism, and you can take it there. And many get lost on one side or the other. It's not about good or bad again. So what happens when you find yourself more in the left side of the brain, then you start to take everything I say as literal, and then you go into the state of agreeing or disagreeing, and you find yourself somewhere in a different structure, right? And it has its strengths and it has its weaknesses. If you fall in love with the right side of the brain as an artist per se, then you may actually get lost in the realm of art, and it makes it very hard for you to integrate into the Western-minded world within what they call the organic matrix of our collective existence and agreement and being a person. And that's why a lot of artists struggle and trying to find their purpose so that they can maybe make money and keep continuing to working with their passions. So again, it's very important for you to understand both sides of the brain, because they both want to come home. They both want to center. So that's why when I would say, or most people would say in the meditation arts, they would say, find your center. And to find your center is not to collapse and to destroy one side of the brain, but is to integrate and interweave those two parts of the brain so that you can activate your inner seeing. That's why the chakra system, or in the acupuncture system, in the wellness, in the Chinese medical arts, is all in the center of your very being. And that center is called in Chinese medicine, or in the Chinese meditation arts, Qigong, you're called your microcosm. And your microcosm is a mirror reflection of the macrocosm, as within, so without. You've heard of that saying. It's as above, so below. As within, so without. It continues, that saying. And once you start seeing the miracle, or the mirror reflection, that's the etymology or the root of miracle, is to mirror upon and to reflect upon who you are and who you're not at all times. We may not be conscious about that. Every word that you use, or every word that exists, is a symbol. It's ascribed to an agreement. For example, I am Marcus, all right? You know me. And I say I'm Marcus. I was taught that I was Marcus, and we all came to this agreement. So I live as a Marcus. I am a Marcus to you. You know Marcus. You know me. You know a version of me. And this is how you could get stuck in symbolism, because now you think you know me. In your mind's eye, you know all about me based on this agreement that you made within yourself intimately. So with how you see me based on who you are, not based on who I am. And it keeps going, right? So I'm meeting you for the first time, and I tell you, it's like I'm spellcasting you. I am Marcus. Nice to meet you. So the person now receives me and says, now I know you. I know enough of you to say, you are Marcus, and this person's that name. And now you have a sense of a bridge or an identification. So once you understand the constructive nature of symbolism, or the arts of symbolism, then you can start to integrate and restructure what you say. And being mindful in what you say is not to stop speaking. This happened to me many years ago. Once I started to become enlightened with this understanding within myself, you start to become afraid to speak, because you want to watch everything that you say, because everything you say is a symbol. No. The key is to allow you to speak even more so if you feel the need to speak, because we live in a structured world right now, where that if you don't speak, you're not working, or you're not conducting business. So I understand you have to still live within this matrix, within this patriarchy. And having said that, what I would say is to start to dive in deeper within what you say by listening to what you say. So meditation and the meditation arts are are considered, if not the most powerful platform, for you to start to see yourself in structure with how you perceive everything that you see yourself to be and others. And with the creativity side of you, the creative nature, you don't have to learn that, right? You were born being creative. You were born as a child drawing and playing, and without even thinking of words, you just speak your flow. So we are already kind of like acclimated. We are already acclimated in nature to our right side of the brain. The challenge for us as humans is to integrate and merge, right? To no longer collapse the system of one side, but to merge within that collapse, meaning that you're collapsing your version of yourself every moment, every breath, every day. You start to invite a new sense or a new version of yourself. Bruce Lee would have said, be like water, my friends. It's like saying, using the symbolism of water, we're 70% water, such as Mother Earth is. The ratio of water between Mother Earth and us are synergistic. So there are the four elements of this world that you are made out of, right? So if I say, come breathe with me, it's kind of like a joke, because it's like you're already breathing. You may not be completely conscious of it. You just symbolically know that you are breathing. So breath is something that you use because you have no choice. So you don't have to believe in breathing. You require breath. So this is how we start to understand the concept of belief and knowing. You know you're breathing. Now, it's not discrediting belief, because you need one for the other, because now we're taking what I'm saying as maybe a belief system in your eyes as a bridge, because it's a very powerful system for you to self-integrate. So believing is the very first step, one of the very first steps in increasing and expanding something about you, for whatever that is. Trust is also necessary, self-trust. So it's hard for you to meditate. From my experiences, it's hard for one to meditate if you don't have trust within yourself, and you don't understand the difference between believing and trusting within yourself, and knowing yourself. So it's important that you understand those words as symbolic gestures, and so that you can further invite yourself to dive deeper into the meaning of these symbols if you choose to. Last example I would say is, if you, let's say, believe in a God, Buddha. Remember, I'm speaking to 8 billion people. So I am speaking to 8 billion different belief systems. So each belief system encumbers words as symbols, and they make it their reality. And to crack that shell so that you can dive deeper within your belief, so that you don't get stuck and ruminate within the patterns of belief, because that's what's happening to the collective, is that we find ourselves in this structured moral belief system, and that belief system keeps circulating. And if you feel good with it, then maybe this message is not for you, because you're fine. But if you feel like something is missing and you're looking to expand in such a way, then it's to cross-examine within your mind's eye to understand what belief you have and what it means to you. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you believe in the word God, or you believe in God, and the word is the word that you use. And you go into the Hebrew scriptures and you find that God's name is Yahweh, right? So now you believe in that now, because you say, I resonate with that. And I'm using this as an example to get my point across. You say Yahweh, right? And it's the most powerful word that you can resonate and speak of, because when you do that, many of you who believe in those terms and work with that within their sense of belief system, there's a lot of power in knowing all of who you are and all of who you're not by understanding God or Yahweh. But you're human. And humans tend to be very curious, mischievous. They want to crack into and go into things deeper. You can't ignore that part of humans. This is why you start new jobs and careers. We do it in the outside world, but we're afraid to do it within our inner journey. And there's nothing wrong with being afraid. It's to understand what fear is. It's another power. It's part of the power of the dichotomy of your strength. Fear and power have to coexist, because they come together to excite and to unravel, Fibonacci sequence, something new. And if you understand sacred geometry, Fibonacci sequence is sacred geometry and how we start to shape the structure of this whole planet with the house or the building that you live in or the community that you live in. So you see what I mean? There are highly refined masters that use sacred geometry with their belief, and they start to structure things with that, within that realm. So again, taking the term Yahweh, and you start to go into the mystic arts of Judaism, and you decide to go into the Kabbalism, and the book of Exodus, somewhere in there, would say Yahweh has 72 names. 72 words per se. Meaning, Yahweh, within this agreed upon structure of the phonetically sounding and resonating words, there's a collective agreement where when you say Yahweh, you are speaking of 72 symbols encapsulated with that word. You don't need to know those 72 words, because if you do that, I mean, if I say, I want to say Yahweh to you, give me a second, I got to say it 72 times, though, blah, blah. it becomes a little bit too much, right? So you use the word and it becomes encumbered within 72 sounds within one. So to the curious mind, this is how you start to unravel the dark nature, dark means unknown as well, of the things that you have not shed life to. And the reason why I say that, when I start with meditation right now, I'm going to use a template of what's worked with me, but I am inviting you to make it your own. So just for the fundamental basis of this video, I will say the word God, but you can say Christ, you can say Yahweh, you can say one of the 72 words. So the whole point is that you use these symbols and these words as created, and you trust yourself enough. And if you do that, then you start to opening up. You begin to unravel intimately more of who you are, not of who I am. So why are you going to give your trust to me? And in my way of doing it, what I'm doing is offering a bridge. But we can't cross that bridge together. We can meet somewhere in the middle. And in that middle, we part ways in a sense. And when you part ways, symbolically, you're not saying goodbye to me. You're expanding something beautiful of a connection that me and you are having, even as we speak. And so that you don't become insane, right? Because this energy is of existence, of being human, is so intimately powerful. We tend to veil ourselves because we become more afraid. And that is our dark nature. Our dark nature is actually us putting in those veils of pushing in things and suppressing or repressing things. And all of those things want to come in to illuminate your mind. So the crazy thing is, many of us go into the outside world searching and seeking and asking questions and training of all of this information that's already within us. Don't stop doing that. But remember, everything that you seek is offering you an opportunity to reflect back at you more of who you are. And all of who you are is already within you. So I invite you to journey within yourself as I speak of this particular meditation. And after this video ends, make it your own if, again, you resonate with this. Okay, let's begin. So it's important, as I said in past videos, that you keep your spine upright. You know, I'm on a sofa right now. You can sit on a sofa. Make sure that you position yourself where that you are naturally sitting in an upright position. And this allows for your spinal cord to activate naturally. Your chin, 45-degree angle, so that you can actually feel upright. You know, almost like that feeling like something's pulling back here. And what I haven't mentioned before is your tongue. Your tongue is important. Your tongue is like plugging into your microcosm and into universal conscious energy. You know, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people use their tongue, making all these connections by speaking. So symbolically, the tongue means a lot of things, right? So in this template of meditation, the tongue is very important so that you understand your human biology, how intelligent it is. So the way that you use your tongue is that you, when you meditate, is that you like saying the letter L. So the tip of the tongue touches the roof of your mouth naturally, so don't force it. You close your mouth gently. Don't clench your teeth, but you close your mouth. And in this particular meditation is breathing in and breathing out only through your nose. And so you will close your mouth, make sure that you activate and place attention to your tongue. And once you do that, observe. Right away, something's already happening. And if it doesn't, just keep cultivating. Have trust in yourself and patience, and be kind to yourself that you will arrive. Arriving today and tomorrow, it doesn't matter. One is not more important than the other. So once you do that, you start feeling that you're plugged in. Right now, you're learning to trust this particular new belief system. You see what I'm saying? You see how it comes together? And when you place your tongue there, the Chinese classic says your face becomes cool like iron. Because naturally, without thinking, your tongue will plug in to the microcosm of your energy between the du mai and the ren mai of your body. So you have acupuncture channels that actually circulate already. And the endpoints of both channels actually end at the tongue. So when you connect it like that, you plug in. Just by doing that, I can easily get lost within myself, and then the video won't work because you're going to say, what is he doing? So you do that. Now, the words that I'm going to use are connecting with my inhale and with my exhale. Okay, so breath is vital because you are already breathing. But when you start with your third eye, your inner self, with your inner eye, you start to activate with your intent, with visualization in your way. You start to activate breath from within. So you start to bring light into your breath. And that's how you do it, just by doing so. When you see it, that is the light. You don't see it, that's the dark. So the dark becomes the light when you see it. The dark is not bad. It's just that you're not seeing it. So you become afraid of becoming the light within the dark. And that's what they say, walk within the dark, and there you will find your light. And that's another talk. So again, for reference purposes, I'm going to use the word God, but you can use Christ, you can use Yahweh, you can use my higher self. If you're speaking in divinity and you're speaking to a guide, if you're speaking to an ancestor per se, as many do in prayer, there are no rules to this, but I'm going to use the term God. So I close my eyes, tongue is to the roof of my mouth. I'm feeling upright. I'm placing my attention, my third eye or yin tan. I'm activating that point just by simply paying attention. You do it enough, you start feeling it vibrate there and many parts of your body. Then when you're ready, you start to activate below your belly, 2 inches below, around that area, your lower dantian. They say it's your first mind. You place attention from here to there. And whatever you feel here, allow it to just naturally, like waterfalls, come to this part of this point. And with visualization, you're keeping your attention on this point while observing, like so, with what I said. Find yourself in a relaxed state. Pay attention to your inhale and exhale. When you breathe in, you feel your lower dantian slightly expand, which just starts to expand the rest of your body naturally so. And when you exhale, you contract and you go back to the source of this area. And once you find yourself in a relaxed state, you feel in an in-between state between falling asleep and being awake. But the difference is you're visualizing and highly attentive to this observation at the same time. And when you're ready, when you breathe in, you say on your inhale, I come to God within me. And when you exhale, I allow God to come to me and embrace me. Inhale, I come to God. When you exhale, God comes to me. And in your own way, as you say those words, you make it your own. You start losing time. You start losing yourself. You become one with your true nature of who you really are in the moment. You keep saying those words until those words dissolve. You start seeing symbols and images until those images dissolve. You pay attention to your breath until your breath dissolves. Until you come into a moment of realizing you no longer need breath to breathe. I open my eyes. I urge you for yourself to continue your meditation in your way. Namaste.